gold. You know how we do it, baby. Come on, let's go. This is the voices of the black and gold. You know how we do it, baby. Come on, let's go. This is the voices of the black and gold. You know how we do it, baby. Come on, let's go. This is the voices of the black and gold. You know how we do it, baby. Come on, let's go. This is the voices of the black and gold. You know how we do it, baby. Come on, let's go. This is the voices of the black and gold. You know how we do it, baby. Come on, let's go.
What is up, and welcome to another episode of the Voices of the Black and Gold, your go-to podcast for all things LAFC. And man, oh man, do we have something to talk to you about today. Not only is LAFC on a historical run, 2 wins in the CCC, starting off the season with 2 wins, going to Houston, winning there, haven't won since 2019. We got a lot to break down and a lot to talk about. Bring Tony back up in here. Tony, as I was saying, we got a lot to talk about, man. LAFC goes to Houston. They win for the first time since 2019. We're on a great start. 2 wins in MLS, 2 wins in CCC. Have a game tomorrow. Feeling confident, loving the pressers from Marc Dos Santos. I mean, honestly, dude, I can't say enough. He's very transparent. He gets asked the question no matter how hard it is, and he literally will answer it. It is a breath of fresh air, but we got a lot to talk about. First of all, let's talk about LAFC going to Houston and winning for the first time since 2019.
Yeah, Houston, you had a problem, and it was LAFC as a whole. It was everyone played pretty much to their potential. I mean, to give it up to Jonathan Bond, who really kept them in the game, had many saves and really shut down Sonny and Bouanga, but you had another problem in the name of Marky Delgado. Shut me up, brother. Oh man, how critical was I of him last week, and how critical was I of him during the pregame in the chat? Like, he shut me up. Brilliant performance, a goal and assist, man of the match, and got team of the week. Marky Delgado. My apologies.
I mean, look, a goal, an assist. He shut us all up. We have said, when we have been very vocal about this, that at the end of the day, we feel like he hasn't been the same since that situation happened last season. And yet he comes in and he shows us, hey, no, wait a second, I am here. And I just put up midfield is looking a lot better this year. 100% agree. And I feel like, is that because of Eustaquio? Is he who the missing piece to make Tillman and Delgado better? Because once he got in there, Tony, it feels like things are moving better from the midfield. It feels like we are now able to get the ball forward. We're able to get some crosses in there. And then our defense has really been solid, which we're going to talk about, another shutout there. But when we look at the midfield, we have complained a lot about our forwards and the front three having to come so far back to try to be the facilitators. But it doesn't seem like that's what we've had to do these last 4 games.
Yeah, it looks like bringing in Stefan Eustaquio really helped out. Props to JT on that one. It seems like he's taking a lot of that pressure away from Markey and Tillman and anyone else who fills in that midfield. And it shows on the field. It shows the leadership that he has. It shows with the positioning, the passing, the crosses that he has. Shout out to him too. Banger of a goal as well. Like Markey and Eustaquio, bangers of goals. Not just any goals, but they were bangers. But yeah, to your point, Eustaquio is the one that maybe is the missing piece, like how we're saying. Maybe it gives a little bit more freedom and more to leave. He says, "Hey guys, we saw Marcus Silva saying, I got this," but Eustaquio also, he got this. He's the one that's like, "Hey guys, be free, go play your game. I got you guys. I got your back."
Well, we also seen the same starting 11 that we seen against Miami. And this is what I found interesting, and we were talking about this before we went live, is that LAFC controlled possession, 71% compared to 20 something. And then, that's sort of how Miami did on the other one. It wasn't that bad from 70 to 20, whatever. But the first half sort of seemed boring because our front three just weren't being involved. But have no fear, the midfield are the guys that ended up getting the goals for us. Yeah, it came after 2 red cards, a red and then a goal, then another red, then the other goal. But my point of being is that we possessed the ball so much, but really did nothing with it with the first half, Tony.
Yeah, that first half was a little boring. I was actually falling asleep, no lie. But I mean, maybe it was just getting used to it. As the season is still young, it's a starting 11 that who knows? Like we don't see the behind the scenes stuff, but that are probably still trying to figure out when to rotate to the other side between Bouanga and Martinez. Maybe Sun even switches that front in between those front three that we've been seeing in the past in the Bob Bradley era more than the Dolo era. So it was a good starting 11. I mean, if it worked against Miami, who were the champions, then it should work against Houston, who not to say they're not at a Miami level, but they're not. So what if, like I said, if it's not broken, why fix it?
I mean, the stats say something crazy, though, right? 18 total shots for LAFC, 12 for Houston. Shots on target, 6 for LAFC, 3 for Houston. Big chances, 3 for LAFC, 1 for Houston. Accurate passes, 692 for LAFC compared to 251. Fouls committed, 14 for LAFC, 6. The fouls that we were getting called were just it was wild how much LAFC was getting called for stuff. I found that crazy. Offsides, we had 5, Tony. And I bring that up because a lot of those had to be with unfortunately, Sonny. It seemed like every one of his runs and every one of his chances were getting called back. It just was not his day. He did end up getting an assist to our man, Eustaquio. However, he just couldn't put it in the back of the net, but he had plenty of tries and plenty of chances, Tony.
Yeah, unfortunately, the sun wasn't out that day for LAFC. Good for Houston, bad for us, but he still played well. He was a facilitator. It was the assist was actually to Markey, I
Oh,
believe.
Markey, you're absolutely
Yeah,
right. Markey.
yeah, but I mean, Sonny just has been having these off days. But I mean, like I said, the season's still young. You can see that he really wanted those goals, those moments that he would get called offside, or whenever they called the foul and the outside and the referee took that free kick away from us. That was a weird call. We don't even know what the call was, but you can see that he really wants that goal. And I'm calling it right now, early on right now. He's scoring this weekend. You can feel it. He wants that goal right now in front of the 32-52.
Oh, 100%. I wouldn't be surprised if he scores even tomorrow, and
It's next week.
Oh, it is next week. Okay. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if he scores Saturday and then turns around and scores on it's a Tuesday, the game is,
correct.
right? Yeah. So, I mean, I'm looking at his accurate passes, 34 out of 38, 89%. He's diming it out. And it was really unfortunate that he had 5 shots, that he could have had. One that was actually on target. So for 20% right there. And it was just like, man, as you said, the sun just was not out. But for him to still be able to facilitate something shows what he can do for this club. He doesn't just have to score. He can still facilitate and get the other guys involved. So when we have the Denis Bouanga is not scoring, when we have the Sonny's not scoring, when we have the Martinez not showing up, the guys in the midfield still did, and that is a good sign for LAFC.
Yeah, and it shows that, I mean, the respect that Sonny has from other players, that they were really on Sonny and forcing him offside, and they caught him many times, along with Bouanga as well. But it also shows that they can attract that attention to those defenders and leave someone else open, like they did with Markey, like they did with Eustáquio. So this is a great opportunity for those other guys to step up. Like, hey, we're pulling all this attention over here. Now we're gonna give, once you guys have the ball, make it count. And our midfield did an excellent job of that.
Houston was hanging on for dear life from minute one. It was nice dictating the game and controlling possession. We had better players. MDS trusts the players, and it shows. I agree with everything that he says right there. It's one of our good friends right there, Soccer USA, but I agree with everything that he says. It feels good when you can control the ball 70% of the game. You know what I mean? Like when you are dictating it. And what's interesting about that comment is with Miami, I said this last week, it felt like we were dictating how they played anyway, but yet we didn't have the possession as much. Then with Houston, we had the possession as much, might not do as much with it that we wanted to, but to get back in that driver's seat, Tony, and make those teams feel uncomfortable, as he said, from minute one, and also making Miami play to how LAFC wanted them to play, it feels back to how it was when we first started. It feels really good to be in that type of position.
Yeah, it shows, we get glimpses of the Bob Bradley era where we just dominated possession and we were just attacking. In the Miami game, you notice it was more of a defensive side and we kind of just waited for the counterattack. Whereas with Houston, we held that possession, just kept on wave after wave after wave of attack. And then to Soccer USA's point, the substitutions that MDS was making, man for man, he didn't care if it was 2-0 and they had 2 red cards. He was still going, putting attackers. Hey, let's get more. Let's keep going. 2-0 is not enough. Let's get 3. Let's get 4. So kudos to him.
LAFC Dad's in here. I'm going to go and bring him in. Chris, what is up? Representing the Dodgers in that shirt. Love to see that right there. It's been a while since we've had the pleasure to having you on this show, and I'm glad that you could stop through. Andrew is sick, and so I appreciate you being here with us, man.
Yeah, man.
We're sitting here talking about how LAFC dominated this game with possession. It might have not felt like that, from the first half of what we've seen on the pitch, but talk a little bit about LAFC being back in the driver's seat. With Miami, we sort of dictated how they played at us, and it sort of felt like we were controlling the game, even though they had the more possessions. But when it came to the Houston game, having 70% of the possessions, not what we wanted from the first half, but then ended with a 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, Marc Dos Santos basically told us we were going to be this team, right? In his initial, he said, we're going to have more of the ball. We're going to be on the front foot. And you probably remember, Nick, in the chat, I was just like, hey, let's give this guy a little bit of time here. Like, it wasn't exactly a sexy hire. I think we all know that, But that being said, while John Thornton's not perfect, he hasn't made a ton of mistakes. He's been pretty nails for 6+ years, so or 8+ years, but we're kind of at a point where Marc Dos Santos is really just doing what he told us he was going to do. And as LAFC fans, we're not used to hearing anything from a coach. We're not used to hearing like, hey, I'm gonna do this, and then they do it. We're just used to them like getting mad or whatever, or just not saying 5 words. Like Dolo never said anything. So it's a bit refreshing to kind of turn on a game and be like, okay, like the Miami game, like, hey, we gave them the ball, but we were clinical on the counterattack. The defense was solid. Never really felt like Miami really had a stronghold on that game, even with the ball as much as they had it. And then you flip to the Houston game, a place we've never won. And for the first time going into a Houston game, I was like, yeah, I think we got this. I wasn't all that worried, wasn't all that nervous. Obviously, 2 red cards help. They're all over Twitter complaining about the red cards, but I'm not sure the red cards would have changed the result. Red card or not, 25 yards out, Delgado and Eustaquio, those balls are still going in. 11 on the field, 9 on the field wouldn't have mattered. So, they clearly didn't like to – both those came off short corners. So Houston clearly had no interest in defending the short corner. The ball went to the same spot. Delgado buried one, Eustaquio buried the next. So, look, Dos Santos is just telling us what he's going to do, and he's doing it. I like it. It's refreshing. I feel like we're going to put up a lot of goals this year. I still think there's things to be figured out. You could tell that Houston kind of clogged the middle up a little bit, and having Martinez kind of tuck in centrally, as Dos Santos has said he's wanted him to do. It just felt crowded. It felt kind of, disconnected. They didn't have the same flow that they've had. I mean, obviously playing Real España, it wasn't that hard, but even against Miami, we were finding space way easier than we did against Houston. So some of that's just MLS, on a hot, muggy Houston night. And some of that is like, we have to remember that this is a team that has some different cogs that are really important, getting heavy minutes. And, it's early in the season. There's going to be games where, we'll pull out a result like this, where I don't think any of us felt like it was incredible, but it was good to see that even on an off night, we basically dictated the game even prior to the first red and controlled most of the ball. If we can win with the ball or without the ball in the MLS, that's a dangerous team. That means we can play in the snow, or we can play in the wind, we can play in the rain, we can play in the Eastern time zone, play in a Western time zone. It just makes us very, very hard to beat, especially with what's looking to be a team that's as deep as one we've ever had.
Yeah, when I opened it up, I talked about how transparent Marc has been. I mean, it is really incredible. I brag about it a lot. Don't I, Tony? Like, I swear to God, I think I'm starting to fan out on this guy, because there isn't a question that he won't answer. And it's very refreshing. And that's something that you said that really stuck out to me a second ago. It says, nice to have, not to have to only rely on 2 to 3 players. Anyone can step up. Tony, that is how it feels. As I said, when you have a Martinez was sort of non-existent this Houston game. Sonny tried to do everything, but as you said, the sun just wasn't out for him on that day. And Bouanga was being, double teamed, and he couldn't really get anything started. But when you have Marky being able to show up, Eustaquio show up, I mean, this is what it's made of. And you don't have to worry about them guys coming so deep, Tony. Now you actually have facilitators pushing it forward because they feel comfortable. And I referenced this last week. It's almost like Eustaquio came in and he's like our new Altuesta, that he wants the ball and he wants to be able to get it forward. And now we have someone that can do that. And that frees up Tillman and Delgado. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, because it's crazy to think that, 12 months ago, essentially, it's really much the same team with just the addition of Eustaquio right now and Porteris. But, and like to the point that they made right now, it's good to not to rely, because prior to Sunday, when we had Bouanga and Giroud, and other teams knew you shut down Bouanga, Giroud's non-existent. And then even when Giroud left, and once you shut down Bouanga, none of the team really showed up. And now it seems like Marc has, and real quick, maybe that goes back to the chemistry and the Dolo ball that we all hated and everything. And now with Marc and this new fresh air that we have, that it's just everyone stepping up. You can see it amongst the guys. You see that everyone wants to, man for man, whoever comes in, hey, you're gonna step up. You're gonna give the same energy that whoever you're replacing, or maybe even better. But yeah, unfortunately, the front three wasn't on today, or this past weekend. But that's okay. The season's still young. We'll be fine.
Chris, what do you think about that? Having more than just 2 people running it, like he said, we are used to it, right? At one point it was Vela FC, then it was Bouanga FC. Now it is multiple people that we can rely on, and it seems like it's now becoming more of a team that we're relying on this year. 4 games, 4 wins. Yes, it's 2 different competitions. And to your point, we go to Houston, and we haven't won there since 2019.
Yeah, look, I don't think we've ever pulled out a win in regular season, too. I think that was like some type of competition play, right? Like, we had like 2 points in how many years in Houston. Like, it's a hard place to play, man. I don't know if you've ever been to Houston when there's any kind of heat. It's hell, dude. It's so rough. Like, humidity is a whole different ball game, and it affects players, which is why, like, if that team could ever figure out how to like put a winning product on the field, imagine a home game there. You know what I mean? Like in like they could have there's like a real home field advantage for those guys. But having depth is important, but even more so, like depth in the MLS is it's almost like a fairy tale, bro. It's like the Tooth Fairy. You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't really exist because of the salary cap, because of the cost of what like a real footballer costs, right? Like you look at guys like Son, even like dudes who get heat like Tillman. Like Tillman's still making almost $1 million a year, right? Like, how do you build depth with these tiny salary caps? How do you build a roster where the guy off the bench can either give you something different or can at least provide a minimal drop in the level of play? It's virtually impossible. It's why you see every MLS team, as good as they are, they all have significant weaknesses. Look at Miami. Everybody was all over them for their offseason. They have weaknesses. Like, they're going to be good when they put it all together, but they are clearly missing a few things, right? Especially defensively. So to put together a team like ours, where we have virtually depth at every position, I was concerned about the outside backs, thinking that basically we got, Smolyakov and we're just rolling to one side. And guess what? Eddie Segura is playing left back, and he's playing pretty damn well.
Eddie motherfucking Segura.
That's right. Eustaquio comes in at the end of the deadline. We knew he was quality. We knew it was an underrated signing. A lot of folks on the internet weren't really championing it, but if you look back and listen to some of the bigger name guys, they were like, "Yo, this is a big deal." And Matt Doyle, who used to be with MLS, right, who now has his own Substack. If you guys subscribe to that, he was the one who said that the Bouanga was the new Cabral, right? But we made the t-shirts out of that. He puts out an article every Monday, and it's a great read. And one of the things he wrote last Monday was he talked about the prowess of JT's team building, John Thornton, how he builds teams. And he talked about bringing Eustaquio in pre-World Cup, being able to stay in the 2-4, 2 DPs, 4U22. He basically wrote, like, John Thornton got a free $1 million in allocation money to buy down his salary. That's that extra $2 million a year you get. Well, for half the year, you get $1 million, right? And he gets to have a trial on a designated player level type guy. And if it all works out at the World Cup, he wants to stay here. Guess what? We just sell off one of the U22s, make him a DP, and we just keep rolling on. So from a depth standpoint, that's, I think, the place that's impressed me the most. I know Son is great. I know Bouanga's great. I don't envision these other head coaches that go like, all right, we're going to double up Son. All right, cool. You're going to leave Bouanga one-on-one? Out of your mind? Well, you can't leave Son one-on-one. All right, what about this Venezuelan on the right side? What about when they sub in Schaffelberg when he's healthy, running like a bat out of hell on the right wing? Like, that dude is gonna open some eyes too. So we've got guys that haven't even hit the pitch yet that are gonna contribute in big minutes. And I think it just speaks a lot to where the team is. And last year, no trophies, but this year, I think nothing short of some hardware. It's absolutely got to be the minimum expectation, especially the way this roster has been built. That's a lot of pressure on a new coach like MDS, but that's what you signed up for, man. Like, this is the real LA, right? Like, this isn't the stinky part, over by City of Industry in Long Beach, right? Like, this is LA, right? Like, so that's the expectation. You come in, he doesn't have time. There's no training wheels. He's going to have to figure this out on the fly. So I'm expecting the first 12 to 14 games to have some road bumps, but I feel like our depth is going to bail out a lot of those games where we're trying to figure it out. And once they dial it in, I'm going to expect some of these lower level teams. I'm going to expect goals in bunches. It's going to be 2019. There's going to be 4, 5, 6-0 games. We're going to be hearing a lot of stuff at the stadium. A lot of music getting played. You know what I'm saying? A lot of goals.
So this guy wrote, disappointing to see no teammates came to the aid of Sonny when he was stepped on. His season could have ended at Spurs. There was always players protecting Sonny. I've seen a lot of this going around, and, they were really upset, Tony, about him getting hit. And if we're honest, a lot of these people are just coming over to MLS, and this is not a knock. I get it. You're watching the Spurs, but here is sort of physical, right? Like, there's a lot of weird fouls that will happen. And I don't know if it was that they weren't trying to come to his aid. I can understand what he's saying. They want you to run over like it is in basketball, where they pick you up and make sure in the huddle around you, make sure no one's standing over you. And I can respect that. You know what I mean? But I don't know if a lot should be put on that, Tony. You know what I mean? I don't know if this is something that people should really be harping on, but I've seen it said quite a bit, like almost like the team don't care about him. We care about him a lot. I mean, the players care about him a lot. So I don't know if that's warranted. And I'm not sure really what they're expecting, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we heard players that came over from Europe and the first thing that they say is, "Oh, MLS is a lot more physical than I expected." So, I mean, you're gonna get hit. It's not ballet, honestly. You're gonna get hit, and then it's contact sport. For the fact that they're saying that, oh, no one rushed over to Sunny. I mean, they're soccer players are also not doctors either. Like let the professionals. That's why we have trainers on the side to do that. I mean, I get it. You don't want him hurt prior to the 3 months prior to the World Cup. I understand that, but I mean, yeah, it's a little bit of exaggeration if I'm being completely honest. But we all trust me. We see the videos of them training. They're always having fun. Son always has that big ass smile on his face. So it's like he's happy here. The players have his back. But when it comes to like an injury or something, let the trainers, let the pros do that. Let them take care of that.
Chris, I mean, it is crazy, right? Like I've seen quite a bit of stuff. Oh, LAFC is trying to jump on Sonny because he didn't have a great. He didn't have a great game. It's the truth. But he still got an assist. He still opens it up for the other players. Like we see what he did for the players. It just because he doesn't score and isn't getting on the back of the net does not mean he was not a contributor. Does not mean that he wasn't drawing two defenders over where other people could get. You understand what I'm saying? Like he still contributed a lot, and I really didn't see anyone attacking him, but they're sort of taking it that way.
I mean, when it comes to the injury, like I was at my son's state cup, so I'm watching this on my little phone in San Diego, like a hotel while the kids are like swimming in the pool, right? And I'm like, hey, what was that? What happened to Son? Like I remember seeing the replay, and I'm like, are they gonna give us a red on this? Like, and then you see it back, you go, oh, okay, I get it. But like I'm watching it going, is he really hurt? Like what really happened there? You know what I mean? I think there was some of that. I don't think it was necessarily like they don't care. I think that's, there tends to be a lot of excitement and a lot of overreaction to kind of everything that happens with Son. I mean, he's got some passionate fans. I understand that. I mean, I kind of got to with one a little bit in the chat. We're good. Like he's a good dude, but I think to a certain extent, teams are going to have to pick their poison with Son. They're going to have to commit to either him or Bouanga. They can't commit multiple assets to either, right? Right now they're choosing Son, which is why he's dropping deeper, playing 9, distributing. I think in 4 games this year, he has 5 assists, right? 6 assists, something crazy. One goal, like 5 assists. Yeah, I mean, and he had a quote years ago at Tottenham, and that's what keeps getting referenced, where he's like, I'm happiest when I'm scoring goals. That's what they all reference. He didn't come here to get assists. He came here to score goals. It's like he came here to win. He came here to be dynamic. He came here to change games. And if other teams are going to commit that much assets to him directly to stop him from finishing, I personally, look, I don't know Son. Like, we're not homies. You know what I mean? Like, but I have a feeling the type of human being that he is, that he's perfectly content racking up assists after assist after assist until teams make the adjustment and realize that they're going to have to free him up a little bit and give him hey, we can't let Son beat us, but we can't let everyone else beat us too. Like they're not losing anybody. So as teams change the way that they defend us, he's going to have his games. And even though, MDS said he had this knock and he's picking up his fitness a little bit and so on and so forth. I mean, imagine not being fully fit and through 5 games, you've got 6 assists and a goal. Everyone's double teaming you. I mean, like the dude is incredible. He's next level. It's so obvious from a guy who watches a lot of MLS. There's just certain players you see, you go, yeah, he ain't going to be here long. Either if they're young and good or if they're older and they're coming in, you're like, oh, he still got it. Or, oh, yeah, no, he don't. He has it. He clearly still has it. And anyone on the LAFC fan base that is negative about Son or whatever, I think that's more performative because they just don't like the way how his fans are so passionate about him. I don't know of any fan that could potentially be upset about Son being on our team or upset with the way he's played. I think we all know there's another gear, and I think there's no doubt we're going to see it. But for him to essentially, for a lot of folks to be like, he doesn't look like last year or whatever, like I get it. He still has 5 assists, right? In 4 games, whatever it is, or 6 assists in 5 games. It's crazy. No, it's crazy. Like, I'm like, what are we talking about? Why are people upset here? Like, he's incredible, right? So
5 assists, 1 goal. And Tony was saying it, guarantee he gets a goal Saturday. It's rightfully so that we get a little bit of break, and then we go into the CCC again. And yes, I did see the blood. He actually got fouled twice. So
I don't think that was blood.
Well, they're saying it was red on the back. I think it was a spray, really.
I think it's the logo of the bag.
I thought it was a spray that they spray on it, but regardless, I see why they're upset about it. I understand. Of course, he's going to walk with a little bit of a limp, but I guarantee you Saturday he looks ready and willing to score, and he's going to score. And we are all 100% still behind this man. He is fantastic. We love everything that he does. I got this one from the history teacher. He says the ball from Boudry to Sonny was incredible. I don't think it's getting enough talked about, to be honest. And then it says Boudry needs to get more starts in starting games. I agree with both of these statements. It was incredible. What a beautiful goal that was from Boudry. How are you guys feeling about this guy? I mean, he's coming in and he's coming in hot. He's swinging, Tony. It almost like he deserves to get one of those starting positions really soon, actually.
Yeah, I mean, last week during the Real España game, and me and Andrew actually sat together and watched the game, and we were just so high on Boudry as he was playing, and we were like, damn, this dude, he's gonna be in the starting 11 soon. And that's someone that I also said last week on the show, where I said, oh, if Marky doesn't step it up, then Boudry's gonna take that spot. Now it looks like maybe it's David Martinez. There's so many people that can step in for man spots. But Boudry, he's going to be a starter pretty soon. You can see him. He's just swinging, going left, going right, going in the middle, going to the side, taking on players one-on-one, 2v1. I mean, I'm really excited. I can't wait for him to score a goal. I can see it already. It's going to be a banger from outside the box, and we're all just going to go crazy about it. So, I mean, and that pass, it gives me those early days of Benny Feilhaber and Lee Nguyen when they were giving those passes back in 2018, 2019. Oh, man, I'm really excited on Boudry.
Chris, Boudry, I mean, he really is coming in and showing out. I like everything about him. And to your point, some of these, you said it earlier about Eustaquio, it's these signings that sort of go under the radar a little bit. And then when you see them in Eustaquio and a Boudry, you're like, okay, that's what he was doing. Because look, I was one that's saying, oh man, I wanted a little bit more. And you was like, Nick, just trust it. Just trust it. And after game one, I come in here and I'm like, oh, I was wrong. Like I was absolutely wrong. I have a new favorite player. And then I'm watching Boudry and I'm saying, I love this guy too. Like these are guys that really make you think, okay, John is doing the right things behind the closed doors.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just kind of one of those things where like one thing that has me just amped for this season is that MDS, like Dolo and Bob Bradley both, every time we signed somebody new, they wouldn't play him for months. Right? They would just sit the pine, and I'm like, bro, did we sign somebody? Like, where's this guy at? Right? Like, what is going on? We're committing like 8% of our cap to a dude, and like he hasn't played in like 4 months. Like, what are we? And it just doesn't seem to be that way anymore. I feel like while Dolo was kind of well above average from a standpoint of like general record, I also feel like we all know that German kind of pragmatic style. Every time John Thornton would be interviewed, what would he say? Oh, we're LAFC, front foot, score goals, this, that, right? And then you go, yeah, you know, pumped. You go sit in the stands and you watch Dolo ball. You're like, bro, is that the same? Is that the boss of the guy? Like, what am I missing here, right? So MDS, that's not the case. And Boudry was a signing that I bet you last year we don't make. I bet you he don't come knowing that Dolo's the coach. Like a guy like MDS is going to allow him to play. And you know, whenever I watch games at home, I'm going to start my own drinking game, Nick, and maybe you'll join in with me in this over there in Hawaii. Every time he takes his man bun out and redoes it, I'm gonna have to hit a shot, bro. Like he must have taken that thing out how many times, man? I'm like, bro, we get it. You have like long, beautiful locks, bro. But like, just get a better man bun or something. Like, what's going on here? But that being said, you can't tell. I'm gonna start growing out the man bun myself, bro. Like, I'm just a Boudry fan club, man. I'm doing it. We're going all in. But from a standpoint of how he actually plays, his energy is palpable. The second he touches the pitch, you just know. Ball's on his foot. It's like, my 3-year-old might be like, Dad, I need some juice. I'm like, shh. Like, Boudry got the ball. Like, I need to focus. You know what I mean? Like, you never know. Like, the ball hits that guy's foot, and something's gonna happen. I felt it immediately. The first game he was in, he's playing like we say with Song. We see certain guys on the pitch. You go, okay, yeah, he's different. Boudry's just different. He's just different. I'm just hopeful that as he's young and he develops, that this squad can continue to play to his strengths. And obviously he's already earning more time. I think it's only, depending upon who we play, the type of player he is, I think tactics are going to be important. There are things Delgado and Tillman as a group provide that he doesn't. But, when we got a team that's going to be giving us space or giving us the ball, I guarantee you we're going to see more minutes out of him. And when we do, I think we can expect fireworks because with his speed, imagine you got, him running up the left flank. You got Schaffelberg on the other side, pressing fullbacks. Bro, these dudes are not like defenses are going to not sleep before the game. Then they're going to play the game and they're going to be in the training room for a week. We're going to just wear these fools out. This team runs, they're conditioned, and we can play any game that the other team on the other side of the pitch wants to play. We could beat them at their strength. We could play at our game. It's early. It's our first 4-0, right? First league win in Houston. It's a lot of firsts early. I don't want to peak too soon, right? So I want to maintain some level of composure here. We still have players to integrate, but seeing him contribute this quickly is nothing but a wonderful sign. Like I'm ecstatic to see 4 games in that this dude is a piece that will help all year. We'd be 24 games in talking about, is this guy good last year, right? Like we don't even know, right? No. We would have no idea. We're like, how you pronounce his last name? We don't even know who this guy is.
No, you're 100% right. A couple things right there. I'm definitely down for that. I know, Tony, you're up for this too, right? Every time he does it, we're going to have a shot. The only thing is I won't be here in Hawaii. I actually am going back to the mainland come Wednesday. I'll be heading back. So I will grab my moonshine and I will take a swig of it every time that I hear or see him move that hair. Tony, you will do it too, and we will make sure Chris is all, and we will make sure that we post that first time that he does that. And by the end of it, we're all going to be sloshed. That's what I plan to be by the end of watching it. 4-0 start, best in club history. Is this team better than the 2022 MLS team, Tony?
No, not yet. Not yet, but they have the ability to be up there with them. To Chris's point right now, where he's saying that Boudry and all these other guys are coming in, that's what we wanted for the longest, where it becomes a team where the other opposing teams fear the team. They don't just fear one player. They don't fear just Son. They don't fear just Bouanga, where they feel like, okay, once we shut them down, then we're fine. Like, no, now you have to deal with Boudry. Now you have to deal with Martinez. Now you have to deal with Schaffelberg. You have to deal with Eustaquio. You got to deal with Tillman, Delgado, Tyler Boyd, whoever's on the field. Like, that's what we wanted for the longest, where it's all like, now you're not playing Bouanga FC or Sun FC. You're playing LAFC, and you're gonna get the entire team coming at you. So that's very refreshing. We haven't seen that in a very long time. So like we were always saying, we're all excited. A 4-0 start, it's good. It's a good start, but it's still too early to tell that if they're up there with that 2022 team.
So when do you think that you can make that? Are we waiting 10 games in? Are we seeing how far we are in the CCC and then you can make that? Because as I just showed, the pieces are there to rival the 22 squad for sure. But it is too early to tell. And I asked that just because, as Chris was saying, a bunch of news, right? Like knew this, knew that, knew this. And to both of your points, it isn't just Vela FC with, a little bit of side of Diego Rossi to be able to help out, or Diomande, or it isn't just a Bouanga FC with a little bit of side of whomever else was here for that little bit, Brian Rodriguez or whatever. This really is one of the most complete teams that we have from all the different positions. You know what I mean? We're talking about another shutout already. Like the defense is playing well. We seen Tafari really not play well last year and get man of the match twice in a row, Tony. So how many games are we waiting before you make that decision?
We gotta win some silverware. We gotta win some silverware, honestly. And
Okay.
then we can make that call of, like, if they're up there with
fair.
them. If they win CCC, then yeah, they're for sure better than that 2022 team.
Oh,
But yeah, because I mean that 2022 team, we were in CC, we were in the final and completely just choked.
that's right.
So
got ran over, actually.
oh yeah, ran over frontward, backward, inside out, everything. But so yeah, if they can do what the 2022 team couldn't do, then yeah, they'll be up there.
Chris, where do you fall on this, man? As I said, we have the pieces for it. How are we feeling? Do you see glimpses that this team could be better than the 22?
Only about a third, so give it like, Am I losing you? I'm taking my son to soccer practice, so I'll sign off after this one. But I'd say 12 to 14 games is a good size. And to be honest, I'm not really counting the Real España games. So, maybe another 10 to 12 games, and I think we'll have a good idea of who this team is. I think that'll give us a nice depth of different teams to play against, different travel restrictions, like we're going out of country, going back East Coast. I think all those things are important to really get an idea of if a team has weaknesses, where they need to shore up. But look, it's nothing but good signs. So I don't want to nitpick. I also don't want to be, overly, excited and say, oh, that's it. I'm going here. I'm going, I also don't want to, assume anything, right? Like injuries can come. There's all these different things that can affect the team, right? But the expectation absolutely needs to be hardware. Absolutely. The team is that good. They've got it. And like I said, they've got depth. Everybody, like the last 5-6 signings have all been nails, absolute nails. I mean, look at Ryan Porteous. No one talks about Porteous' signing. The dude's been absolutely lights out. Was just loving putting his body on Messi, just crushing him left and right. I'm like, I love this guy, right? And we needed somebody from like Scotland, Ireland. You know what I mean? We needed one of them dudes, right? We needed a brawler. We needed somebody that's gonna like fight on like a cobblestone street. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what we needed. So there's a really good mix on this team. And if MDS can manage personalities, if he can get them to buy in, the sky's the limit. I don't think anybody will tell you otherwise. If you don't think the sky's the limit with this team, you're just not watching, you're not paying attention, you don't understand the roster. There's not a lot to nitpick. We're very fortunate right now to have the roster we have. Now we got to sit back and hope that he can be the puppet master and pull all the right strings.
Hey, Chris, man, we appreciate you being here with us. Thank
all
you
right,
so
boys,
much.
I'm off to be LAFC dad, bro. Soccer practice time. So, Nick, I'll see you stateside soon, man.
Have a good one. All right, brother. See you later, man. Thanks for stopping through. Not only do we have our dog in Palacios, but now, or Palencia, now we have our Scottish Peaky Blinder. I love that, right? Like it is true, right? We do have a bunch of dogs on the back line. We have guys that are really stepping up, doing another shutout. Hugo Lloris is also being incredible back there. I mean, he's stepping up day in and day out. I don't know if we have that many clean sheets without Hugo, but the back line has been fantastic, Tony.
Yeah, and going back to comparison with the 2022 team, it seems that just like with Dolo, MDS is getting blessed with this team. Whereas all like, okay, you're coming as a new coach. MDS has more experience, a little more experience than Dolo did, but you're getting gifted this all-star of a team. Now let's see what you do with it. So now it is on MDS, just like it was on Dolo back on 2022, and Dolo delivered, got us a shield, got us the MLS Cup. So like I said, it's very, very. It's still early, but I do feel like we're gonna win some silverware this year, and I'm really hoping it's CCC. That's something that's been bothering us. We made it to two finals, one during COVID, one at home where we should have won it, and seeing Leon fans right there celebrating on our turf really just still it still irks me so to this day. So curse you, Leon fans.
Curse you. Okay, well, you mentioned the Supporter Shield. Are we the Supporter Shield favorites right now? Do you think?
I think so. I think it's still early, but
I
I
mean,
do
of
want to
course, we're
say
only talking 2 games in, right? And we have the CCC that we're playing, which is going to put strain on the regular season. But from the games that I've watched, and I'm sure from the games that you've watched for the 2 weeks that it's been out, right now, from what you're seeing, do you feel like we're the favorites?
we're one of the favorites. I think it'll be between us, San Diego, Vancouver, and Miami, based on performances.
Mm.
Because Miami, not Miami, but Vancouver and San Diego, they're killing it, man. They're gonna be it's gonna be a dogfight for that Western Conference title. So even so alone, yet alone for the Supporter Shield. So let's see.
Mm. Well, from what I've seen, I definitely feel like we could be. Now, look, that Miami Orlando game was an incredible game, and you seen what everyone expected. And I thought it was pretty interesting because everybody was posting those things and saying, "Oh, it isn't oh, LAFC controlling Miami doesn't look so whatever," and then they come back and they win 4-2. You know what I mean? Like when you see them do that, but yet they couldn't do it against LAFC, made me think like, oh, LAFC might be in more control of their destiny than people really think, if that makes any sense, Tony. You know what I mean? Like, and again, we're talking very early here. And I think I agree with what you and Chris were saying. You know, you have to wait a certain amount of games. I usually try to give 10 games. I feel like 10 games is pretty fair to assess the situation. Now, those 10 games are going to come a little bit quicker for us. And I don't know if I'm supposed to see the CCC games and put that in within the scope of saying, hey, this is how good LAFC is, or if I'm only supposed to go off of MLS. But to me, I actually do sort of add those. And yeah, the game that we played and killed them out, I get it. That team in Honduras isn't going to be one that we really should put too much weight on. But the Miami game and us going to Houston and winning there, even though it's red card after red card, and the way that we won, I feel like I want to put a little bit more on it. You know what I mean? Because it is first happening, and so I feel like for me, I do put a little bit more on this season right now. But as far as if I know if they're better than the 2022 season, I'm going to agree with you. I think we got to wait at least 10 games. I think you said 14 games. And I think that's fair, and we'll talk about this again. But when it comes to the Supporter Shield, I feel like, hey, man, why not? Now San Diego looks good. I'm not going to sit here and say that they don't. They really do look good. Miami is always going to be in the running, but I think LAFC has a little bit more control of their destiny. And to be fair, we sort of have a hard lineup this year. Like, it's not really a walk in the park for LAFC when you look at their schedule, Tony.
Yeah, I know. I was looking at their social media page last week of, I believe the social media, whoever runs it was asking, oh, how many miles do you think LAFC is going to travel this year? And they're all guessing, oh, about 30,000, 20,000. It's like 48,000, 50,000 miles. So it's like I think they said it's equivalent to like 2.5 times around the world. So we're gonna travel a lot. Let's see how that's gonna affect us later on. I mean, majority of our games are before the World Cup, and then we are gonna get that World Cup break for a month and a half. So right now is the time to get these points early on to and then possibly start running away with it towards the end of the first half of the season, I guess, where if we're in the top two, top three of the supporters standings, that once we come back from the World Cup that we just like, okay, now it's ours to take because there's nothing stopping us. I mean, I know we're gonna have Leagues Cup, but other than that, we're not gonna have those games. Are I believe majority there should be in the States, so I doubt we're gonna be traveling or anything. So that's gonna be to our advantage. But other than that, there's nothing stopping us from taking that supporter shield.
Yeah, so we play Dallas next, but that's at home. That's on the 7th. And then we have the CCC game. So we have 4 games in what 8 days, 9 days, something like that. I
We're
mean,
playing
it's
5 games within the next
5 games. Yeah, because
within the next 20 days.
So it's Dallas, and then who do we play in the CCC?
We're playing Dallas on Saturday, Alajuelense at home
Alajuelense.
on Tuesday, again
St. Louis.
against St. Louis on the following Saturday, and then travel to Costa Rica to play Alajuelense, and then we're gonna travel to Austin.
Forget about it. I mean, that is to your point right there. That is a lot to go through. You know what I mean? And yet I'm not really too concerned. I guess if anything, the CCC game we're going to be the most concerned with. So we should see some rotation. Do you think we see the rotation against Dallas, or are we going to wait and rotate for St. Louis to be ready for the next CCC game that we're traveling to?
I think we'll rotate against St. Louis. St. Louis hasn't been that team that they were in the beginning when they first began, where they came in and they took the Western Conference right away, and then they were in first place. And since then, they changed managers, I believe, 2 or 3 times already in their short history. So they're in shambles right now. Dallas is a bit more of a complete team where we need to just keep our foot on the gas, go up against them. Same starting lineup against Alohense, because the advantage that we have this time that we didn't have prior is that we had the first game at home. So we did take that. If we can get a performance that we did against Real España where we get 5 or 6 goals ahead, then in the aggregate, then the return game going to Costa Rica, you can make some changes and maybe rest some guys and maybe play some substitutes like they did this past week against Real España, and then keep the foot on the gas against St. Louis.
And then you turn around and you got to play Austin. And the thing is you got to win that Austin game. It's at Austin. Last time, I don't think we won the last game there. It's a back.
Oh, we won. It was the playoffs.
I was there. Oh, yes, right. But we lost the one before. Went to the playoffs and ended up winning the playoff game. So the thing is we got to go there and really show up, though. You know what I mean? Because it's a difficult place to play also. And then that would end that 5-game streak that we have. But the reason that game is so important is because you can't take your foot off the gas for the MLS, right? So you have to worry about the CCC. So to your point, you rest in St. Louis. Okay, whatever happens, I believe our bench players can win. But then you got to show up starters 2 games back to back within 3 days. You know what I mean? So it's very important for the boys to get all this rest that they can this week before Saturday, and then turn around and play Tuesday, and there it goes. We're off to the races. Last season under Dolo, I would dread these stretches. However, under MDS, I'm excited to see what he unlocks next. Seems like we get a pleasant surprise every week right now. 100% agree, Tony. You have anything to say to that?
Yeah, because we seen it during. I'm not sure if you saw the Real España game where it was a complete rotation. None of our DPs were on the field. They let some of the younger guys. We got to see Jude Terry play. We got to see Kenny Nelson get some minutes, and the kids did good. I mean, I'm excited to see them play and develop even more. So the fact that he's trusting these kids early on with some of our starters. I mean, it shows a lot under MDS where that maybe the next diamond is somewhere in there.
So how do you feel about this next game in the CCC when we do go to Costa Rica? What do you think about us playing this team? Because we had it easy with the Honduras team. This team is probably going to be a lot harder for us to compete against. And we need to sort of make a statement again.
Yeah, we have history with him. If you recall, about 2 years ago when we went over and Bouanga
Uh-huh.
scored that hat trick,
Yep.
and then those fans wanted to kill us. And I know I had some friends right there that went over to the game, and they were saying like, "Oh, these guys, we gotta wait. We gotta get police escorted out and everything because Bouanga pissed them off." So, like I said, the advantage that we have this time is that the first game is at home. So,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, we rack up some goals at home, then we can save some starters for that away game.
But do you see LAFC winning these games?
Yes, I do. I was looking at the bracket. I think it'll be the next round that will be a little bit more difficult because it will be between the winner of Monterrey and Cruz Azul. So that's where I feel like once those Liga MX teams come into the picture
Mm,
is where the real challenge begins. No disrespect to the Central American teams though.
I remember what you were talking about. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I could be over speaking right now, and I hope I'm not. But I think it was the most traveled CCC away fans for that part of that tournament. I remember all the fans chanting, walking down to the stadium, and it was all over everything. And interesting enough, I was looking at those videos that were being sent to me from some of the people that were there, and it was just a beautiful moment because LAFC, as you said, we just got Bouanga. Everybody was really happy about it. And I just remember them all talking about how many LAFC fans were there traveling. And even they couldn't believe how many people traveled there for that away game. I wonder if it's going to be like that this time. But the to your point, what's so incredible about it is that we get to start it. So if we just do incredible things that first game, it might not be as much the second game. You know what I mean? And we might have to not worry as much. And if we can play our young guys there, great. That would also be cool to let us go into that Austin game really with a little more rest for our starters. But if it comes down to it and that game is important, the boys got to start no matter what. That starting 11 is that starting 11, and I don't see how we get out of that right now.
Yeah, I mean, real quick, shout out to the 3252. Unbiasedly, I want to say is the best traveling supporters in MLS for
100
sure, without a doubt. So, I
without.
mean, I'm excited for it. I'm not gonna go. I'm saving all these away games for post World Cup just so I could attend the World Cup. But that's another story. But yeah, like I said, if we can get some goals in that first game, then we can rest some guys for the return game, and then back on the gas against Austin, and then we'll get like a nice little international break where the guys can get a much deserved break.
Boudry is here until 2030. Is that true?
I mean, if he balls out, I don't think so. I mean, he might. We always have, for some reason, everyone sees LAFC, and they always want to take our guys, and they develop them, and then they don't pan out wherever they go, and then they come back. Diego Rossi, Atuesta, Matty
We
Bogusz.
didn't even talk about that. Our game
Yeah,
against Matty Bogusz. Oh, I missed it there, bro.
yeah.
It was hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was a little hard to watch, bro. Like, cause I was a Matty Bogusz fan. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? It was sort of interesting. I mean, he definitely didn't get on the ball as much as I think he probably wanted to, and he wanted to like play good against LAFC. And I'm glad that he didn't. You know what I mean? Like, because we know what he can do, and so we didn't need any of that. Because Rossi, boy, he definitely. He was one of my favorites, so it was hard to see him go to Columbus and play the way that he plays there. I would have liked him to come back to LAFC. you
Yeah, oh
know.
no, that makes two of us right there.
Well, we're at the end of our hour, man. Anything that you would like to add that we didn't touch on that we should have before we get out of here?
No, I think we touched everything. I touched the rotation that we had against Real España, where a lot of the substitutes played more. So, I mean, I was happy with that. Um, that I wanted to see more guys play. I'm still, yes, I'm very high on Eddie motherfucking Segura and everything, but I would really like Smolikov to break into that starting 11. I do believe Bouanga might need a little bit more help where they need those overlapping wingers. I think that might be the missing piece to it, but the defense is fine. We've only conceded one goal. If it's not broken, then let's just leave it alone for now.
You know, to your point, last season, I felt like I talked about Smolskov a lot because I felt like we had to have him. You know what I mean? I felt like we were missing something. And this year, I don't find myself doing that. And I think it is because Eddie motherfucking Segura has been playing so well, and so has Tafari. And so, how do you bench him? I believe that's probably what Mark is thinking. Like, MDS is like, how do I take them out because they're playing so well? But I too wonder, like, damn, I thought we were going to see a little bit more of Smolskov, you know, because I like how high he gets. I like that he can run those sides like that with Palencia, you know, and so.
And he has a shot. He can shoot from distance. We've seen that banger that he scored against San Diego last year. So
100%. And so, you know, but I don't know. I don't know how you change that right now. It has to be some big screw up in order to then make it. So then we get to see what he has. Excuse me. Because if MDS was to change it and then all of a sudden we start losing, people are going to be after him, right? So you almost don't fix what's not broken, right? So you have to roll with what we have going on. And again, this is what Chris was sort of saying. It's great to have different options, you know, and we have that luxury right now to be like, oh, okay, well, we can bring in Hollingshead, we can bring in Smolskov. Like, we have options to bring people in. And I think that's what's so incredible about how Mark has set up this team. And if it is a luxury, to your point of, you know, handing him, you know, the winning serum, okay, cool, but like, make it happen. And you're doing that right now. So just stay on it. Don't let your foot up at all, you know. This is going to come to the end of our show. We really missed Andrew being here. He's sick. He's Vegas sick. So you know how that is. But it was great having Chris here coming through with us. Tony, thank you for being here. Guys, the chat has been awesome. Thank you guys for being here. We know that you could be anywhere this hour. You chose to be with us, and so we appreciate that. We a well-deserved break for these guys. Let's get Sonny back healthy, and so he doesn't have that limp that they're really, really concerned about. And just to show that we, you know, have appreciation for him. And thank you guys for joining us, man. Next week we will be here. I will be on the road traveling, so hopefully my internet will keep up. If not, the boys will hold you down, Tony and Andrew. And guys, thank y'all so much for being here. Looking forward to getting back on the mainland, hopefully seeing some of you guys in the stadium. If you're ever in the LAFC games at BMO Stadium, make sure you come and check Tony and Andrew out. They're always happy and willing to talk. Tony's going to start doing interviews there, so make sure you come through there, check him out. If you didn't like and subscribe today, please make sure you do. Guys, it's been a pleasure. LA is black and gold. Let's go.
Yeah.